Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Humans were then created by Allah from a lump of soil, and their souls were immediately blown by Allah. Humans were also given will so that they could learn and understand various things. The first human figure created is known as the Prophet Adam. The Prophet Adam was created from the soil for a reason, because after death, Adam and his descendants could be buried in the soil. After the body of the Prophet Adam was formed and the soul was blown into it, the angels and also the devil were ordered by Allah to prostrate themselves to the Prophet Adam. The angels obeyed Allah's command, while the devil refused it arrogantly because he felt he was more noble than Adam, because he was created from fire while Adam was from soil. The creation of Eve as Adam's wife, before he was finally sent down to earth. The Prophet Adam lived in heaven on Allah's command. However, when in heaven, the Prophet Adam often felt lonely because he lived alone without anyone, until Allah then created Eve from the left rib of the Prophet Adam while he was sleeping. Eve's presence itself was to accompany the Prophet Adam. When the angel asked Allah why he created Eve, Prophet Adam then answered that Eve was created to accompany Prophet Adam, making him happy according to Allah's will. Prophets Adam and Eve were allowed to live together in heaven for a while with a complete life. However, Allah gave Adam and Eve one warning, that while in paradise they were not allowed to approach and eat the fruit from the Khuldi tree. However, because of temptation and seduction from the devil, Adam and Eve were ultimately unable to keep their promise to Allah and violated Allah's prohibition by eating the Khuldi fruit. After eating the fruit, both of them felt the consequences, which made both of their private parts exposed. Embarrassed, Adam and Eve looked for leaves to cover their private parts. With shame and regret for violating Allah's prohibition, both of them cried while asking for prayers to be forgiven for their sins. Prophets Adam and Eve were sent down to earth. After begging for forgiveness from Allah, Allah finally accepted their repentance. However, both of them had to be sent down from heaven to earth as caliphs. When lowered, they both descend separately. Prophet Adam was sent down in Hindustan, while Eve was sent down in Jeddah. Both were separated by a very long distance. After a long time since being sent down, they finally met in Jabal Rahmah, namely their Rafa area. Of course, the meeting of the two was a happy thing, so that they could return to living their lives happily. The story of the Prophet Adam is short but complete from birth to death along with his miracles. Prophet Adam was the first human created by Allah, and the first human to inhabit the earth. Short but complete story of the Prophet Adam from birth to death along with his miracles. The story of the Prophet and Apostle will be an interesting story to know. From the stories of the prophets, lessons and wisdom can be drawn, which of course will be very beneficial for all of us, including the story of the Prophet Adam, who was the first human created by Allah and the first human to inhabit the earth. One of his miracles is being able to know all the objects and creatures on earth. The story of Prophet Adam begins long before Allah created him. Before that, Allah had created the heavens, the earth and all its contents. The process of creating the earth and everything in it is as explained in the Al-Quran, Surah Hud verse 7, where Allah created the heavens and the earth in just 6 periods. One day or one period in the eyes of Allah, which is the same as 1,000 years in human calculations. Not only did Allah create the earth and its contents, at the same time Allah also created angels. Angels created by Allah were made from light, so that they became creatures that would always obey Allah. Angels are Allah's creations that were given reason but not lust. So, angels do not need to eat, drink, and lust. This is what makes angels never sin. Allah also created the devil and the jinn from fire. Unlike angels who are all obedient to Allah, there are jinns who obey Allah. There are also jinns who are disobedient, so that these disobedient jinn are called the devil. This devil is the ancestor of Satan. The devil and his descendants always disobey Allah. In fact, the devil is tasked with leading humans astray, until making humans have great sins that will take them to hell with the devils. It was because of the devil's arrogance that he was expelled from Allah's heaven. Instead of repenting, the devil swore to tempt the Prophet Adam and all his descendants to go astray. The devil wants humans to go to hell with him later. The origin of the creation of Prophet Adam. After creating the earth, angels and demons, Allah told the angels that Allah would create creatures that would be named humans. Humans would be sent down to earth as caliphs. At that time, the angels were curious about why Allah created humans. On the other hand, the angels were worried about Allah's plan, because the angels thought that humans would only commit sins on earth and bring disasters to earth. Humans, according to the angels, would only give birth to bloodshed and riots. The angels also felt that their existence was enough, because they always praised and worshipped Allah.